Check, 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 check. Is this thing on? Yes. Am I focused? All right, cool. What's going on? Ryan Troy back with another video, all of that. We're going to skip through that. But I'm going to tell you why. Because photographers nowadays are just weird. Now, I got to give you a little premise or backstory behind what I'm about to get into. And because my YouTube is professional, I'm not going to name the photographer's name or anything like that on YouTube. So I mean, join the Discord if you want those details. But let me take you back. All right, so a couple weeks ago I was having this content creator day where I had to knock out some reviews and all of that. So I rented some studio time, knocked out a couple of reviews, already hit the channel. Irrelevant, right? But while I was shooting, my friend that was recording the content had asked me, can you explain the camera settings, right? So, if you know me, which if you don't, hi, I'm Ryan Troy, pro photographer, been shooting for years. I'm sorry if this is your first time seeing my channel, you got to see it in this ranty way. But either way it goes, I do lighting. I started with off-camera flash, all of that. So camera settings, I really wasn't too concerned with, because camera settings changes. I tell people all the time, I am not the guy that's going to put my camera settings, because if you think you're going to use them and get the same thing, it's not going to happen. Things change, all type of things to change. So what I did do though was I went into my lighting setup and explained it and turned it into a reel, and I'll just give it to you here so I don't have to explain it.
All right, so what's the settings you got on right now? Talk to the people.
The settings?
Yeah, camera settings.
All right, so I got two lights in the back. I got these two as like hair lights to hit the side of her, so they shine lighting her and hitting the top of her head. Both of these, just making sure that they actually.
Using full lights right now.
Ike, I'm using full lights right now.
Damn.
Because Ike was talking some mess last night. I'm using full lights right now. This right here is my key light. That's an AD400 Pro in slave mode because it broke on me. And then I'm using the SK 400 Mark II for a field light on the umbrella. That's the setup right there. And this is what it looked like. So after I posted that, I said, listen, Ike, you got 48 hours to respond. Ike is one of my friends. You may have seen his channel around here on YouTube if you watch photography channels. So after that, about 48 hours or less, maybe a little bit more, who's counting, he responded.
AD400 Pro, right above her, right? Come up. Boom, right? So that's 4 lights so far. Ryan Troy used 4 lights, but you know what? I'm gonna take a step further. Boom, a 5th light, Profoto B10 for a nice touch of feel right there, Bob. And also a 6th light, a Westcott FJ400 off of the V-flats for some bounce. We got another V-flat here. These two V-flats count like 2 a light altogether. So what's that? 8 lights? I think it's an 8 light setup. So boom.
So then he responded. It was funny as hell to me, it was hilarious. So later on that day, I'm on Instagram, I'm going through my feed, and this one reel pops up. Now, I want you to keep this one thing in mind. Lately, and once again, if you've been following my channel or following me on Instagram or whatever, lately I have been trying different things. I've been trying to create a lot of TikToks, shorts, and reels because I've been just trying to blow or just grow my channel, I should say. And I have a couple of friends that it's been successful for. So me, I'm like a hardcore analytics type of guy. So I'm always doing research 24/7 just to see exactly what it is that people prefer and stuff like that. So this one comes, it's a photography reel on Instagram. Now it's about a lighting technique, and I've honestly was kind of intrigued because it's not something that you see all the time. So I go ahead I comment some positive, and go to his page. Now I see he has way more followers than me, right? Like this guy, and his work's amazing. Just because your work's amazing don't mean you weird, because this dude's weird and his work's amazing. Go figure. Either way it go. I go through some more of his videos. I'm looking at the videos. I'm like, okay. These look nice. So what do? I follow his Instagram page. And once again, like I said, I just want to see more of his stuff because he gets a lot of views on it and things like that. I just want to see more of his things. Fast forward a couple hours, I'm chilling, right? Like me, on that day, I think it was Friday, don't remember. Just know that I was working from home. My main job, I was working from home, right? And while working from home, let me just set the mood, right? Let me just give it to you, okay? As most of us, when we work from home, I'm not in clothes like this. I'm shirtless, all of that, right? Why does that matter? Stick around and you will see why. Just trust me on this. So he go ahead on and writes me in my DM. Let me grab my phone because I'm gonna tell you what it said. He starts off the message by saying, "Hi, hope all is well on your end. My name is such and such," because I'm not saying what his name is, photography, right? And then after that, he says, "What is the purpose of 4 lights?" And by this, he shared the reel that I posted to the DM and asked that question. Now, I went ahead on and I responded with side lighting, but I'm enjoying the lighting that you are showing on your page, right? Once again, that's me letting them know, hey, I like your stuff, right? He then responds with, "Can we have a conversation over the phone?" Now keep in mind, I'm at work, I'm shirtless, right? I know you're wondering, why you keep telling me your shirt situation? It is for a reason. It is for a reason. So I say, sure, why not? And at that point, he say, "Give me a quick call," and he puts his number in the DM. In my head, I'm just thinking like, okay, what is this even going to be about? But like I said, he has a lot of followers. I'm like, okay, I want to ask some questions anyway. So I go ahead I call him. This conversation started off weird. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Start off weird. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? All of this other stuff. He says, "Do you know Darvin Ham?" Now, me being a Laker fan that I am, of course I know Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham is the coach for the LA Lakers, right? He said, "Yeah, I got his wife. She's just blowing my phone up right now, asking me about, these pictures and stuff like that." In my head, I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Now, keep in mind, with me having a YouTube channel, with me going to places like WPPI every single year, I know a lot of photographers that shoot a lot of famous people. I just shot I was about to say graduation. I just shot an engagement for somebody that plays for a local soccer team. Well, not a local, it's a global soccer team, the Columbus Crews. But I just shot, their engagement with the whole team there and all of that. So I'm not, fanning out, ooh, because Darvin Ham's wife is texting you about some photos, right? So, but I know how to deal with people with egos, and having a YouTube channel and being around a lot of bigger YouTubers, trust me when I say a lot of them have big uncontrollable egos. So I'm used to that. No problem. But he gets to telling me about people that he shot that won Emmys and all of these other things. And it's like, all right, okay, cool. So he's talking to me about lighting, asking me, do I know how to light certain people? Like, because a lot of people don't know about lighting. At this point, it just seems like it's a dialogue, like an open dialogue. We're just having conversation. And I had no problem with that. I like linking up with photographers and talking about photography. I love doing that. So at that point, it was no problem, right? So he's telling me, a lot of people don't know how to shoot white skin versus black skin versus Asian skin. So then he started quizzing me. So what would you do if you shot somebody with darker skin? Would you shoot them the same way? Would you light them the same way? I'm like, no, I would increase my light more because, darker skin tends to absorb light, where, lighter shades of skin, it kind of reflects off of it. Yes, that's right. Now, what would you do with Asian skin? I'm like, well, one of the people that I shoot a lot, Michelle, is Asian. I said, so, You know, so I explain all of this. He tells me right then I'm wrong. He tells me the way that I shoot Asian skin is wrong. I'm like, okay. Once again, I know how to deal with people that got egos. I just let it slide. Then we go into, I ask him about, you know, the reels and stuff like that. He gives me his advice on what I need to do in order to have my reels blow up. And one was use my voice. And number two was be able to bring substance. Make sure that I know what I'm talking about. And I didn't take that any type of way, right? So then we start talking about Godox and Profoto. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is where we're talking about my shirt situation right here, okay? So once this happened, he says, you know what? I'm about to go home. Because we had this conversation about the difference between Profoto and Godox and the ability to adjust the lighting and all of this other stuff. He said, oh no, I'm going home right now. So he turns around, he goes home, and before he goes home, he stops by a gas station, see a lady at the gas station and tells her, I'm going to pump your gas for you. I don't let my wife pump her gas. I'm going to pump your gas. I'm going to pay for it. You just sit in the car. I don't like to see women out here pumping gas by themselves. Now, I don't know if that was some type of flex for me or if that was like I don't know. I just don't know. Either way it goes, it was weird. And then after that, he was like, okay, I'm about to go home. So once he gets home, he FaceTimes me, right? And I'm like, once again, I have on no shirt. So I'm like, bro, I don't have a shirt on right now. Give me a second. Let me put a shirt on. He's like, all right, yeah, because I got to show you this. Go ahead on, put a shirt on. Everything's ready. He FaceTimes me again. He's showing me his Profoto light. He's showing me all of these things he can do with it that apparently you can't do on the Godox light. And then, you know, we go from there. I explain that one of these things he's talking about can happen. He doesn't want to hear that. He's not interested in that. What he knows is right and what I know is wrong, period. He begins to tell me about how he goes to WPPI every single year. He is a speaker every single year. And it's this guy that always comes to him and begs him to take his photo every single year. He said this guy reaches out to him and be like, hey, let me know what you want me to wear for when you take my photo. Once again, don't know why he decided to offer that information up, because once again, I just really don't care. But this is the thing. After we're on the phone for like 45 minutes now, 45 minutes, right? His wife comes into the garage. He has a studio in his garage. The wife comes into the garage, and I guess at that point he needs to go. But this right here, this is the part right here that really does it for me. He says, hey man, so just text me your number so I can lock it in, lock your name in, and we're gonna talk, because your photos, the lighting on them is just horrible. Like you got to learn how to light people properly. And I feel like you make your people look too orange, but we're going to get that right. I'm going to teach you. We're going to make sure that your lighting becomes right. And you need to focus on lighting things right before you think about creating reels and trying to do all of this other stuff for people. We're going to get your lighting right, because right now I'm sorry, but it just sucks. Bro, keep in mind, at this point, I'm on FaceTime. We're not just talking anymore. So when he was going through all of this, Darvingham wife and all this other stuff, all right, cool. We're on the phone at that point, right? So my facial expressions could be whatever the hell it wants to be, right? It could be whatever it wants to be. He's telling me all of this as he's hanging up the FaceTime call with me, and he's looking directly at me in the screen. And at this point, I'm at such a big confusion part, because in my head, I'm like, bro, are you serious right now? But, you know, I'm not a confrontational person. I'm petty, but I'm not a confrontational person. So I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna text you my name and all of that stuff. And I'm gonna tell you this. I got off that phone, and when I got off that phone, I started going through my Instagram. Started looking at my photos, and I'm just like, for one, I didn't see the orange thing. I'm sorry, but I didn't see the orange thing. But I started to second guess myself, because I'm like, I have a channel, and a lot of my channel is lighting. And I'm like, how am I over here trying to teach people lighting and stuff like that? when my lighting is horrible. And this is the thing, if you follow my channel, you know one thing that's hard for me is critiquing. Like critiquing people images is hard because of this same, you know, situation, to where it's like I don't want somebody to second guess their work. But at that point I start second guessing my work. I call Ike like literally as soon as I get off the phone, and I'm like, yo man, this man got me questioning my work. And it's just like I tell him, he tell me don't worry about it, he know the dude, you know, he's like don't worry about it, all this other stuff. But then I hit my friend up later on, and I'm explaining this story to him, right? And at this point, although right now I'm telling you how weird this sounds, but at this point it did not sound weird to me until I explained it to my second friend, DP V Photography. He has a YouTube channel. So when I'm explaining it to him, before I can even get to the part of what he told me about my lighting being trash, as I get to each part of this story, he like, yo, there's some weird energy already. And I'm not, and now I'm starting to think about it like, yo, you kind of right. And it probably was between Ike and that phone call for me to be like, nah, I know what I'm doing. Like my work is good. It's a lot of people that tell me my work is good. But the thing about it is, it's always that outside looking in. Like it may be people that tell me that they feel like my work is good, and it's not that I'm disregarding it, right? But when so many people tell you that, and some people may feel like it isn't, but just choose not to tell me that, it's like when somebody finally do, I kind of listen to that more, because it's like I don't hear that enough. So once I finally hear it, it's just like, well, all the people that's liking my work, you know, are they just saying that because they feel like I'm a good person and, you know, stuff like that? Or do they really, or is my work really good? I mean, I second guess and I had a session that day, I had a graduation session that day. It was just like, it was living in my head. But at the end of the day, it's like, what I take from it is, yo, these photographers be so weird. Yo, they weird. Listen, that's my story. You let me know what you think. Until the next time, peace.